The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Welcome along to The Real Recap. This is part of The Real Pod, and we are recapping Celebrity Treasure Island. We don't even need to say NZ because it's a local format, isn't it?
That's true. I was thinking this week it was so magically good that they should really try and give it another export. Like, it's getting amazing, and maybe it's gonna travel 20 years plus after the fact.
What time does Celebrity Get Me Out of Here? Is it similar? Is it as strategy based, or do they just have to eat testicles all the time?
I don't know, and I don't know that. I mean, I think the thing about Treasure Island is there's this treasure hunt at the end, and I'm not sure if that's the same with Celebrity. With I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Never watched it, so I can't speak to it. But anyway, my name's Jane Yee. I'm joined by Alex Casey and Duncan Grieve, and we how if you're a fan of the block, you're a blockhead. What are you if you're a fan of CTI?
I think you've had to go see the doctor because you got a nasty CTI.
We're infected. We're the infected. Oh, God, no, you can't say that, can you?
Can't say that these days, Jane.
Oh, take me back to the good old days when we could say we were infected and it was fine. We're 16, 17 days on the island now. And we start off with Lance striking up an alliance with Edna. He's kind of just brought her into the awesome foursome without telling anyone else.
Lance is it's a fire sale right now. Lance is just all over the shop. You get an alliance. You get an alliance.
The highlight of the week is Lance sort of, it seems like each week someone takes a turn to do the complete mental disintegration on camera. And when he starts sort of being unable to keep track of his lies and wondering if he's lost his whole identity, beautiful.
So good. So he also had a sneaky night meeting with Chris Parker. Chris Parker insisted on taking a GoPro with him. He was going to make sure that any sneaky chats were caught on camera, but then the battery died. Or did it?
Yeah, and that seemed to genuinely happen. I don't know.
I mean, I think knowing Chris, I think he genuinely wanted everything to be on camera.
Yeah.
So it must have done.
It's very funny. It's very real pod.
Right?
Unless it was easier for them to recap it through Chris just talking about what happened rather than people mumbling in the dark. I don't know. It was very interesting though.
That's true. I get so confused whenever Lance talks anyway, just because his web of lies has gotten so convoluted that I'm an innocent fly just trapped by his lies.
And then Chris went back and told the team, right, that it had all happened. Well, not all of it.
He did, but he omitted some key details. The key detail being that Lance really wanted Chris to become captain of Katipo so that he could be, they could basically have the alliance straddling both power and both camps, essentially. Didn't quite work out. Did it?
Yeah, it's very up in the air towards the end of this week. I really, really like it.
Yeah. The way that all of their sort of alliances are disintegrating and they're all essentially practicing their strategies, which are at once quite sophisticated and super obvious. It's all happening in public, and I mean, we'll get to the end, but I don't recall. Was strategy and alliances, was all this stuff as big last year? It seemed like they were just sort of blundering around and doing sort of world's strongest man stuff, and now it's got crazy heady.
Yeah.
I remember almost nothing from last year, to be honest with you. I just remember that Sam Wallace was on one. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
I have a kind of a plot hole question. If they don't have time, if they've got no access to clocks or what time it is, how did they know when to meet on the hill?
Nightfall.
That's just asking questions.
Well, what about on the GoPro? Could the GoPro have had a little time number?
Yeah, but Lance didn't
display?
know that Chris was going to take a GoPro. I don't think they had a pre-GoPro sync your GoPro clocks.
But if you've both got GoPros and they've got, I'm just trying to find an innocent explanation.
Lance doesn't
for
have
it.
a GoPro.
He does.
Remember when?
Yeah, because when the tsunami comes in, he's on the GoPro, and so that's why we've got footage of that amazing moment.
But remember, Chris turned to the crew and was like, "Can we get a night vision camera?" I don't know.
Something's going
Anyway,
on. Main thing is
something.
that Brie talked about how to make a sandwich, and it was really funny.
Yes.
Yes, she was right though.
Yeah.
Can I briefly
right.
mention just the charity challenge? The charity challenges, I think, have been, we've got feelings about them, but this week my favourite one was shoes.
I love them.
Just shoes.
I love them. We go from these extremely intricate and amazingly art designed team face-offs to like grab a shoe. Like
Grab
it's just
a
like
shoe.
a crew member's shoe.
Iconic.
That is really like it feels like there was something went badly wrong to grab a shoe be the game, but it's definitely
But
a highlight.
Candy Lane's assertion.
Yep.
I grew up handling shoes. This makes me perfect.
She was
for shoes.
she grew up handling and selling shoes. And it was hers to lose, and lose it she did. She just let down all that training that she did in shoe handling, just on the beach, just like that. Edna's a funny one because she's so, she's such a major player and she's so outspoken, but at the same time, has got no control over what's going on. She really doesn't know who's in an alliance with who. She's getting herself confused. She takes a very simple, straightforward clue at one point when she's talking about with Kimberly Crossman last week, and then Kim's like, that's a cannon. And Edna's like, oh, I don't know. What's a cannon? I don't know.
She's such an amazing character.
She's overthinking it.
Yeah, but also assumes that everyone else is so catastrophically stupid that they don't even know what an alliance or a strategy is. And that kind of combination of having a real quite basic and very visible strategy, thinking that no one else would even understand what one is just an absolutely joyous thing to watch on the TV.
I do like how direct she is, though. I think there's something to be learned from when she just bowls out to Brilliant. She's like, what is your understanding of what's happening here? I was like, good journalist.
Also, you guys didn't mention this last week, so I just want to register a complaint. When they were when she was talking about putting Bryn and Chris up against each other in an elimination, and she then couldn't get anyone else on board with that idea, might have had something to do with the fact that Brynley was sitting right there. So no one's going to be like, great idea, Bryn, we're going to throw you under the bus. We're literally telling you about what we're going to do, and we're going to just go ahead and do it and throw you under the bus right here in front of you. It's not going to happen. She should have had those conversations in secret behind closed trees,
That's just not her style, and I love it for her.
Okay, team face-off, what did they have to do? I know that they had got to have yum baguettes, and they got to, a losing team had to change captain as per. It was a giant...
There was the official warning as well. Official warning for Chris and Lance.
Look, had that been two lesser players, they might have just chucked them off for the drama, but they're not going to do that with Chris and Lance.
100% they'd have gone.
Tippy Maze, giant Tippy Maze. Great challenge. Art department, just fucking knocking it out of the park. And Chris is thinking about, like, strategy-wise if he should be throwing a challenge, but he just, like, morally can't bring himself to throw a challenge. Also physically couldn't with this Tippy Maze one.
Physically can, yeah.
It was very, very close. Repo won the challenge and Ange just yelled out, "You weren't looking!" She was so cross. So good.
And Matt Chisholm so angry back. I was looking and you came second.
He is just a born commentator. Like, he's so good in the moment. It almost feels like New Zealand needs to figure out more to do with that man.
Yeah.
Because he's just unbelievably... Like, his commentary is brilliant.
It's so
like,
good.
It's way better than it needs to be.
I just need to interrupt this transmission for a quick second because I can hear a child wailing, and they've been wailing. I've been waiting for it to stop. It's been going on for minutes, and it hasn't stopped. I think it's got to the point now I need to go and see if I need to, like, call an emergency service if they're not tending to some
You're
ducks.
going to go out and there's going to be a biro
You guys
in your child.
just keep chatting.
Should we continue?
I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
All right.
Okay. I'll be back. BRB.
Okay.
Okay. So they Katapoa lose again 7 times in a row, which is really quite something. And Chris, I found it really interesting watching Chris's lobbying for leadership when he, like, again, it seems to be a sort of slightly similar dynamic to that with Edna, where he just assumed that his charm or his argument would win over these women, and they're actually really, really freaking smart, which is how they've sort of survived so long.
Yeah, No, I was just here. It's like just a whiff of desperation. Like when he was like, he hit up Jess on the way to the toilet and was like, "Vote for me," and then just kind of left her. It was sort of like I think he just pushed it a little bit too hard.
He did,
and they were already smelling a rat.
and he there was the desperation, but also like a kind of a confidence that of course I'm Chris Parker. I get this. I think if it had been a close loss, it would have been okay. But the fact that it was like everyone against Chris. I just love it when they sort of let their guards down and stop being celebrities for a minute. Like when Chris is like, you know, it's Team Chris, he's like really upset. That's just amazingly compelling TV.
Fun fact as well, apparently when they did the captain's reveal, that little machine showed Chris as the winner. And they were like, oh, no, sorry, that's not right.
Oh,
and they had to
worse.
reshoot it.
Oh,
So it's like double brutal.
kia ora, Maisie.
Maisie, you need to go. I'm working. Maisie, you need to get out of here.
No, she's all good.
Oh my
She's
gosh,
all
I'm
good.
not going to go. Guess what I just went to do?
What's that?
Wipe a bum.
Oh,
Wipe a bum.
so that was just like a
Lovely.
long sort of toilet scream that you'd been ignoring.
Yeah.
Lockdown, baby.
I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty about that because it's 7 years old. That's a lesson learned. You need to be there. You can do that on your own.
Yeah.
You don't need mum involved.
Yeah, that's just because you want mum involved, not because you need.
Yeah. I suppose everyone's got, you know, specific mental health needs at the moment, and that's one of hers. Can you go away if you're going to chat? Go into your room. Okay.
This is also the episode where you start to see Katapoa swing around, like go from being like the loser team that's got no hope. And because it's amazing the way this week that dynamic shifts and Repo it completely falls apart and Katapoa reveals itself as way stronger than we gave him credit for.
It's just Lance's lies. He should have just kept lying.
He should have kept like.
You know?
There was a point when he was like, when he had his crisis, where he was like, you know, I can do all these things, but what I'm good at right now is lying. And I'm like, yes. Don't have a moral dilemma about it. Now's not the time. Keep it going. You're in blood steeped so far or something, Shakespeare. Like, just keep going.
How good is Joey D? I think he's my MVP of the whole series. I just love him. And that face to camera in the moment he does where Lance hasn't told the truth since he got here. I don't even think his name's Lance.
Yeah, that was so good. Especially because it was like cut right after Edna was going, Lance is the worst liar.
I know.
Beautiful.
He's obviously an extremely skilled liar. We found out during the captain's test that Jason Gunn has spat chia seeds in Lana's mouth, that Lance has held up J-Lo by the bum with one hand, which I watched. And I went immediately onto YouTube and searched that. And I also searched Lana singing the national anthem before a rugby game, which was like a radio. She lost a bet with Jason Gunn and humiliating, I'm sure.
Banter. Was that part 2 of the chia seeds?
She didn't get the job because of her singing voice, bless her. But she did well, better than I would.
Also enjoyed Bray's. Oh, sorry, Lance. I think it's just one of the names that you dropped.
Yeah, I dispute that because he was forced to drop it was in the game.
Well, no.
Well, except for they provided the facts, didn't they? They would have provided at some point. They would have provided
they
the
wouldn't
facts.
have. The producer would have found it.
Nah.
Do you think?
I reckon they have found it. They would have been asked.
I think a producer would have done it.
Either way, lovely line. Enjoy, Brie.
Lance won that challenge because Lana, as it turns out, doesn't have 258 puppets in her garage. And we move on to the next step. Chris starts this episode the way we left him, in a huge grump. He's all Team Chris now, and he wants to stay in bed. He's homesick for home and for his spiritual home of Repo. And then we have this amazing cute exchange between Chris and Bryn over the rocks.
It was very cute.
Wildly cute. It's such a lovely portrait of a friendship, that one.
And the little Tim Tam bundle getting biffed over the rocks. Oh,
Also just horror.
to die for.
They risked everything.
Yeah, they did. They could have been a second strike for Chris. The weather is so bad. For so long, like it's really drenching, heinous rain during these episodes.
Yeah. This is the problem of recording in a New Zealand summer, right? It's like no guaranteed sunshine whatsoever.
That's all right. I enjoyed watching it.
Tsunami, yes, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Ange, actually, Ange, as we know, spoiler alert, Ange does end up going home, but I reckon she was a pretty powerful player. She shouldn't have put her hand up to go into the elimination. I don't know why everyone's putting I would be like sitting on my hands. I'm like, if I'm not in the elimination, there's no chance I'm going home. Like, why would you do that? I think they're just bored. But she figured out that Lance was wanting Chris to be captain. Like, she was on to Chris the whole time. Everyone else is just like, oh, Chris is like, we just need to bring him into the fold a bit more. And Angel's like, look out, I smell danger.
She's so in the game. It's brilliant. And like when they finally won the team face-off, her celebration was honestly like, I've seen NBA players at the ends of their careers win a title for the first time who were less stoked than Ange was winning that competition. And when
Didn't she say it was the best moment of her, like one of the best moments of her life?
And she said, when I look back.
One of the best moments of her life, unironically.
Yeah.
Oh,
but you know
so
what?
good.
What really hurt was that the other team threw
I know.
it. Like that's
it's brutal.
Like, how is she going to feel watching that back? I feel that they redeemed themselves in the next challenge that they won, like
fair and square,
you know, legitimately. But this one, But can we just quickly? I don't want to spend any time on egg roulette except to say Chizzo is like a loose unit with the facials and the screaming when he's like smashing eggs on his head. Like it's like he's been just gagging to get involved in the challenges.
Yeah, there's no need to.
And he knew this was one shot.
There's no need for him to be involved in that. It's just like, no.
He loves
I'm
it.
smashing some eggs on my face.
Honestly, egg roulette has got to be the first clause in his contract. Like, I will not do this unless you let me play egg roulette. Like, he loves egg roulette so much. And I respect him.
And I also love how Ange smashes a boiled egg on her head and then just eats it instantly.
Immediately.
Like, I'm not
shell and all.
Shell and all. And I am sitting there thinking, has that been refrigerated the whole time? Because the last thing you want on CTI is having to spend like 2 days in the poo cave, you know? Anyway, when Kat's boat completely, like the wheels came off their boat completely, and they ended up like heading inland and also out to sea in a different direction all at the same time. But just have to make another note that the prize was fish and chips, right? Yum. Fish and chips and soft drink. Like, what is happening? Why not say ice cold fizz? Why would you not say ice cold fizz?
I reckon Chizzo has trademarked it, and that was another part of the negotiation that didn't go his way, was that they were going to have to pay him a huge fee to use that IP. So
now they're using this off-brand soft drink term.
Yeah, that's right.
Hate it. I hate it. Every time they eat something, I crave it. Every time when they're eating baguettes, when they're having fish and chips, when they're making pasta, I'm just like, I need that food right now. They are eating a lot better than I am.
Chris's spag bowl, like, you know, him doing the spices and all that. I was like, that.
Yeah, it's just putting in some chili flakes.
Delicious. Chris did go absolutely mental during this challenge, though.
He really did. Yeah.
No, Ange, you're wrong.
She was wrong. She was wrong.
It's so funny.
Yeah, she was on the wrong. She was trying to turn the boat the wrong way. So fair enough. But yeah, it was real tense there between like Chris and the ovary agreement. But they won, and then it was all fine. And then we had the elimination challenge, which was stacking monkeys. And this was Lana's choice as captain, chooses Joey D and Jess. And what a play putting Jess in that. She was just, if you need someone to stack monkeys, Jess is your girl.
I mean, that's two of the strongest players in the whole thing up against each other. I did think it was really interesting watching the dynamic between Joe and Lance, because Joe clearly wanted to be saved but didn't want to have to ask, and Lance clearly was torn between wanting to save him, but he kind of really needed to be asked because he also knows deep down that Joe's super strong and Lance really wants to win.
I don't reckon it was that. I don't reckon that was Lance play. Like I don't reckon he was throwing Joe under the bus in any way. I reckon he just misread when Joe was like, all good, he was like, all good, like, come on, like, like, I'm all good to do this, but I don't really want to. And Lance was just like, oh, Joe wants to do it. He wouldn't let me save him. I'm like, I don't think that's what was happening there. I think Joe wanted you to save him.
Oh, I had the opposite. I thought Joe just wanted to do it. He thought it'd be fine. And he was just being naive.
Well, I think he did initially, and then the closer it got to it, the more you could sort of see him going, oh, this could actually just be the end. But either way, I think the fact that we could watch it and all kind of come away with slightly different readings on it just really speaks to just how completely wrapped up in his web of lies Lance is. There's no idea what...
It all could have been solved with, like, I mean, the number of conversations those two have had, just like a very definitive, if you get put up, do you want me to save you? Yes or no? Like just beforehand, yes or no, But that obviously wasn't one of the conversations that they really nailed down. It was Joey got in his head and he ended up going home.
He could not stack those monkeys for love nor money.
He really could have.
It was a catastrophe.
For my
Did you, I mean, obviously this happens a lot, but I really want to stack those monkeys.
I was going to say, for my 12th birthday, I got a wooden stacking elephant. Do you know that's just like a little rectangle of elephants that have been cut out, very similar to the monkeys, but a little bit chunkier, and you can stack them in all different ways. Again, I mean, my life has been prepped, right? I can stack some animals. Put me on the island,
You're a celebrity.
You're a celebrity.
For crying out loud.
I'm not, but I still want to do it.
There's a reason you paused.
Who made those monkeys? Again, art department. Amazing. Like, this is international standard set design. I have a question for you guys, because there's so much talk about alliance this week. If we were on the island, but we could only align with one of the other two, who would you align with? Like, Alex, who would you align with out of me and Duncan?
Oh, with each other, not the current celebs. I feel like Duncan would go too hard too early and get eliminated.
So true.
Yeah, no disrespect.
No.
Whereas I think me and Jane could be the sort of the candies.
The ovary agreement would hold strong. I'm like incredibly aggressive player at everything I do. Like, we've got this kids game called Rat Tat Cat or something, which is kind of like a baby version of a poker kind of thing, and I just find myself invariably just calling from the start, and it's never worked for me. Like, I'm so absolutely correct. You should align with each other, and I would eliminate myself almost immediately with some wildly aggressive move to try and win from the start.
I'm not going to ask you who you'd align with, Duncan, because I think that's unfair. I don't want to make you choose.
Couldn't choose.
AKA, I don't want to know that it's not me. Episode 18, we start with some chat about who put on their out of office email and who didn't. And then we face with the fact that we're now down to even teams of 5, and Candy's just happy she doesn't have to sit out anymore. If I was anyone on this show, I would be Candy. But the difference is, I mean, I did sell shoes, so already we're on the same page. But I would be quite happy to sit out of everything. That's the difference between Candy and I. I'd be upset about that.
Yeah.
Except for if there was a stacking monkeys or whatever, I'd be fine. But in terms of like...
The thing with Candy being sat out of everything is she sat out of everything but the elimination challenges.
Yeah.
it's like really harsh. Like, you're too useless to play these things, but I'll put you up for elimination just to get rid of you. And then every time she wins, she's like obviously a player. Oh, I'm seething for Candy at the moment.
She's also sat out of every conversation as well. So you can imagine if that's the only time you get to feel like you're doing something that you might want to be put up. But God, the redemption and...
But to be fair...
What's coming for Candy and Buck is so good.
To be fair, Candy and Buck don't seem to have any strategy at all. They seem like, what are they talking about? When everyone else is off, like, having a nice time or... doing like major strat chat. What are Candy and Buck doing? Like, what are they talking about?
They're talking about how they have sore knees and hips.
Honestly, I want to see a supercut of all the Candy and Buck chat, and I want to use that as a trailer for Candy and Buck, a new reality show which is just Candy and Buck having a chat. That's what I want to watch on my TV.
Oh my God. Like, what do they think is going to like... yeah, I don't know. They're just like, do they realise what they're there for? Do they know what this all leads to? Do they know that they have to kind of try and be there at the end and win something, or are they just like, I'm just on an island doing games with some children? Like, what is happening?
But maybe that's perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe that gets you to the end. I mean, look at the fucking Wiz last season who ended up in the finale, like, so confused.
Also, we're top 10 and Candy and Buck are both still there, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't argue with their non-strategy strategy. Okay, then there was that charity challenge, eat, throw, smash. It was a bit boring, that one. Didn't love that one, so we'll just move on.
I like Lance eating a leaf. That was good.
Oh, hang on. No, I do have an issue with this. Buck won this one, but he didn't break the leaf on his head. He just, like, rubbed his forehead with it and it flew back.
Yeah,
like,
it was weird.
Cheated. Very, very loose rules. Okay, tsunami warning. I was just living for Lana and Andrew's broadcast on this. You know how they started, like, out of their ad break with the pack shot, like the Treasure Island kind of logo, and they did that, you know, it was Lana going, there's been a snake. And I thought it was a real news broadcast at first.
Same.
I thought it was News Hub.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. TVNZ News. Saved it. Don't worry, guys. Saved it.
Wow. Clutch.
They all
I
get
also loved Lance filming himself panicking, and he's like, do we need to ring our families? I don't know anyone's number. Like, it's so good.
Have we ever, I mean, I don't want to like bring into question the good work of the Civil Defence Unit, but have we ever had a tsunami that's kind of like done more than a little bit of a swell onto the seashore?
Well, it only takes one.
Well, that's true. That is true. And I suppose there's a bit of boy who cried wolf going on with our tsunamis, and one day the one will come. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. If you're told to go to high ground, do so. There you go.
So reluctant to allow that tsunami to be real.
Anti-civil defence stuff.
I just asking questions.
Crazy reveal.
No, I was just more like, was Lance's panic justified?
Yeah, it's a real boy who cried dog situation for sure.
There's an abundance of caution, call to the higher ground, and they went up there.
That was a fucking scary morning, though. Do you remember that? Like, it was so intense. When that happened, when there was that giant earthquake and like the Kermadec or whatever, and everyone, like, it was quite a big moment. And Kelly Allen, you know, jumped in with a cool jacket. It was, it was a whole thing.
It was a massive thing.
Yeah,
because
seems like so long ago.
Because now we've had both the level 4 announcement on the block and the tsunami on the on Celebrity Treasure Island, which is. I know, it's quite fun having a bit of real life in your reality TV shows, I've got to say.
Okay, so real life came in when they got up to the field, got to see like cars and just a different vista, and were suddenly like shocked out of their kind of Treasure Island bubble for just a wee moment. Must be very surreal. Like, they've been there for 2.5 weeks. It's quite a long time. Like, that's longer
Especially
than any
for a
school camp I've been
celebrity.
on. Yeah. And...
I also wonder if the locals were like, what the fuck? You know, like, would they have noticed? Like, there's this giant cluster of celebs under this.
It still looked like they were in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's not like there were houses around, you know?
Yeah.
But they did see, you know, they kind of like were looking at each other's interactions as they sat there under their gazebos. Lana was quite taken with the steel pole. just like, whoa, steel pole. I forgot what these were like. When they were told it was safe to kind of return, they went straight to a face-off. And this is the one where the spag bowl was up for grabs. And this is where Lance offers the opportunity for the other team, for Katapo, to buy his throw the captain in the elimination ring scroll. And he tries to sell it for 4 pirate gold coins. They don't take it. He tries to sell it for 2. They still don't take it. They're not going to put him in the elimination up against themselves, are they? Why would they want to do that? He's such a strong player.
No, I was like quite confused by all of this. Like, I didn't get why he was so angry.
Yeah.
Why did he even want to do it? I just don't. I'm confused.
Like, we don't even know if there's going to be another pirate market.
I think maybe he was like, hey, like he had a guilty conscience, and maybe it was like, I need to just throw myself in the elimination ring and actually earn my keep here as someone who's not just lying to the team but doing something to win, because he hadn't won any charity challenges either, and I just think he was like doubting himself.
I think also the weight of being captain for so much of the season and having to be the one making the decisions while also being in the middle of this gigantic web of lies that he cannot keep track of anymore. There's amazing quotes like, my strength is lying right now. I'm starting to question myself as a human. So good.
Yeah, and that's when he mentioned about calling the therapist on the phone. So they have access to therapists on the phone at any time. It was just interesting actually seeing. We get told this, don't we? Whenever there's like Married at First Sight and everyone's world falls apart, we're like, that's when the production come in and say that everyone's got access to counselling. And this is like it actually playing out. You know, they broke down the fourth wall again. They've done that quite a few times, which I have really enjoyed.
Very much enjoyed it.
Okay, this is the actual human centipede. We had like a mini human centipede in an earlier. This was crazy. I am amazed that no one broke a limb, like by being crushed or being like wedged in between something and it just snapping. Like huge health and safety risk. Worked out all right. But I laughed out loud, like a hearty laugh when they did that aerial shot. They're all squished in one spot. And I was just like, there is literally just a little mini manga of celebrities all tied together and tangled up. Like, what is
You
life?
really
It's like a rat cage.
But they were all wearing their shreddies, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I love that line when Lance was like very close to Edna's butt and he was like, Edna, oh, and she's like, I'm about to fart in your face. I really like their friendship. I think it's a great dynamic.
Is that what it is?
It's something.
Katapo genuinely win this one thanks to Lana's amazing skills at throwing beanbags onto barrels, which she gained those skills by throwing mullets into barrels when she was a child with her father fishing. Like, this is, you never know when your skills are going to come into play. That's all I'm saying. Suddenly, with the win, Chris is Team Katapo again. He's all like back in the fold, seeing that the strength is in there with the ovary agreement, and he's realised that actually maybe this is not a bad place to be, especially when Candy and Buck are both on the other team.
Amazing scene.
Then we had the truth bombs. Kudos to the graphics department for the lovely truth bombs that went off throughout this scene. So what happened? Bryn drops Edna in it and reveals that she has that she bought a mystery scroll or something. Oh, when in the pirate market.
Yeah.
Edna revealed the ovary agreement, and Bryn was like, "That was a secret, Edna." Bryn had told Kim told Edna. Lance says, well, Jess still owes me, I feel like, revealing he'd been protecting Jess. And Buck and Candy are just like, what the fuck? We have no secrets. We have no strategies. We have no alliance. What's my name? What's my phone number? Where am I? Like, I feel like they're just like, but the rules are that we're all in a team, you know?
Yeah. I would have liked a warning. She's right. I don't know.
Oh, we're not even at that, but this is even before the challenge, though. This is when they're all sitting there and all the truth is coming out. And that's what, like, ultimately, I think what happened in the challenge was, a result of all this kind of crazy lying that's been going on in Repo. Like, it's been it's all smoke and mirrors. They've been looking so strong, but really, on the inside, it's just eating them alive. Katapo throws stress rocks into the sea, and then what happens? Oh, we've got the elimination challenge with Ange and Edna. Supposed to be Edna, but then Lance saves Edna and puts Candy in her place.
Brutal.
So brutal. So sad
So
for Candy.
sad. It was so savage. And it was, I mean, Candy's redemption in this is amazing. That ball, that looked like a very stressful challenge. The ball's all going down the track. They both did very well.
She's a dancer.
Candy won
She
at the end of the day.
knows how to move her limbs. But I worry about Candy. Like, this is now quite a long, sustained period of... That's the kind of thing that could have you go away quite insecure and, in a way that... it feels really yuck where it's got to. Well, that's
Unless
true.
she wins.
Extremely
That's
Team
true.
Candy at this point.
Production gave away that Candy was going to win that because they've been teasing that exchange between Candy and Edna. It hadn't played out before the elimination. So that was a bit of a tell. But anyway, that face-off happened after the elimination. They come back to camp and Candy is seething, and rightly so, that she just didn't get any... It's not even like she didn't want to be there. She's like, I just want to know in advance. If this is the plan, let me know so that I can go in there in that mindset. Candy said she felt more supported by the other team, which is crazy that should be the situation. And Lance kind of mumbles out a sorry, and Edna's seemingly completely unsympathetic towards Candy's plight.
Edna's in character.
Just as like, you got to use it's like it's all about strategy, and she just got super, super angry.
She said there's other strategic strategies going on.
It's true.
She was hit up. And Brindley was so upset.
I know.
Brindley was so upset, and I really felt for her, that kind of thing where she's like, I felt like I, going along with the cool kids and whatever.
I'm not sure that I ever felt that Candy and Buck were her original homies. That was kind of what she was alluding to.
I thought it was more like just that excluding anyone on that basis just didn't feel like the way that she tries to go about things. And also just the way that Edna was speaking to Candy felt quite sort of dehumanizing.
Yeah, it did. And then Buck kind of stepped in to stand up for Candy, and Edna just turns around and says, why are you so aggressive? Now, normally I'm not into, I'm not into calling women aggressive, but she had been a little bit aggressive towards Candy as well. So
the whole thing, it was just an ugly scene. Like when Buck said, I'll just sort of go right through you or something, it also was like a bit tense. But yeah, it was one of those things where it was an ugly scene. No one came out of it well. It was also just amazing TV, and I'm really excited to watch next week. So what are you going to do?
I know you were saying Edna's in character, but she also turned around to camera and was like, this is off-camera chat, and continued, like as if to say, I get to cut. I get to call the shots here. What I want to say, I don't want to be on camera. So that, that's how she really felt. It wasn't just character. Anyway, watch this space. I mean,
Buck's assertion that it's dog eat dog. Well, I'm a big dog and I can eat a lot of meat was one of them. It was quite unhinged, and I loved it.
And they are all absolutely losing the plot. I cannot wait for next week. Every week gets better. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you to our lovely celebrities that are stranded on the island, because without you guys, lockdown would suck even more than it already does. Thank you, Cornies, for listening. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jane.
Bye. Oh, and thanks, Tina. Thanks, Tina, for editing this.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, Senior Writer at The Spinoff. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, Podcast Manager at The Spinoff. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spinoff member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate. The Spinoff Podcast Network.